Imagine waking up on February 24, 2022, to a world where Vladimir Putin ticks off hours like countdown clocks, dreaming of Kiev's collapse in just 3 days. But fate twisted like a knife in the dark. High above Moscow's smog-choked skies, Ukraine's unseen warriors erased Russia's energy empire bit by unforgettable bit. The Kremlin, promising eternal night for Ukraine, choked on its own refinery flames, dreams dissolving in acrid smoke. What if Ukraine didn't just survive? What if it shattered war's old rules, stabbing straight at Russia's beating economic heart? This tale unveils the pivot point, exposing how Ukraine claims victory by 2026. How did Putin's grand energy fantasy shatter with drone blasts at 38 refineries? For dazed Russian families, combat hits home at empty pumps, fuel vanishing like hope. Kyiv gambled wild, ripping Russia's vital engine to force talks. How did billion-dollar S-400 systems crumple before toys called drones? Dive into the blueprint of ruin. As frost bit harder, Russia unleashed bombings to crush Ukraine's spirit. Early October saw 95 rockets and kamikaze flyers slam Kharkiv and Poltava hubs, nuking 60% of gas output. Not luck. Russian mines zeroed in on grid's weak frequency nodes, dousing 39,000 homes in blackouts. Yet, they missed Ukraine's shift from guard to grab. Ukrainian spies and agents ignited history's boldest deep strike drone raid. The tech? A genius flip on war books. Homegrown Liddy and Beaver drones aren't bomb haulers. Packed with AI autopilot, they ghost radar shadows. Crossing borders. They pierce 1,200 miles, looming over Rostov to St. Petersburg. Precision struck terror in Russian techie eyes. Drones hunted refinery cores, not tanks, but distillation pillars where oil berths fuel. Fixes demand months, banned parts from West bands. By August 2025, hits crippled 16 of 38 big sites. SAT pics and enforcer data show flames at giants like Norilsk raging, heat waves lashing afar. S-400 woes bared flaws, interceptors and jets failed low flying, composite birds duping scans. Ukraine swarmed decoys to overload lines, then real doorbreakers smashed sensors and prizes. On Odessa Kyiv fronts, feats mocked Russian fury. When blasts wrecked ports and wires, Ukrainian crews flipped backups fast, ports pulsing alive. Wiring crews rewelded Kyiv zones swift, lighting a million lives. Proof, Russia's Smash One philosophy flopped on Ukraine's flexible webs. Battleground won in labs and control rooms. Refineries ablaze unleashed tsunami fury. One pillared fall halts not just flow. It starves distant pumps and tank treads in Ukrainian mire. Russia's diesel dipped critical. Kremlin banned exports total. Chaos erupted. Lines snaked at Rostov, Belgorod, Moscow spots. Prices leaped, farms gasped sans diesel for reaps. Vast lands need trucks, trains, cut fuel, starve stores, mute factories, halt rides. Putin's stability valve fizzled with broken nozzles. True horror hammered his troops. Armies guzzle fuel. Tank units drain thousands daily. Strikes on Russia, Crimea bases snipped supply veins. Front lines stalled, fuels drying, armor ditched, convoys bait for shells. Log jinx wrecked plans. Ukraine flipped the script. Russia bombed Odessa ports for grain choke. But microgrids and Western gens softened blows. Odessa reloaded hours post-hit, generators humming. Adaptability denied Russia dark winters. Ukrainians crafted fixes, ditching central choke. Ripple? Russia lost energy leverage. Once gas-throwing, now importing from Belarus, Kazakhstan for tanks. Hegemony mockery, giant too weak to fuel self. Flimsy empire exposed. Ukraine swarm torpedoed foundations. Decades of petropower gone. Refineries burn, petrodollar spigot shut. Export ban bleeds billions, crushing budgets. Homefront quakes awaken fury. Suburban Moscow dwellers feel it, spiking gas, blackouts, sky drones sparking panic. State shields cracked, masses simmer. Tech gap yawns. Ukraine sinks Western energy shields, solar, wind, distributed safeguards. Russia isolates, trapped in clunky Soviets, ammo for endless fills. Ukraine rises indestructible. Russia fades in patches. Blows tarnish superpower glare. Nuclear giant blindsided, sky undefended, treasures vaporized by toy swats. Dimmed prestige, irreversible. What unforeseen curve sends Russia reeling, while Ukraine climbs unafraid? Fingers tremble on triggers as fronts crack. Did Moscow foresee this energy rot undoing empires? Asphalt heat rises at jammed stations, smell of despair thick. Sirens wail, flames roar like enraged beasts, embers biting skin in unguarded dark. Ukraine's gambit twists battle into economic wildfire. Broke yet bold, Kyiv plants seeds for triumph. How far will Putin's empire scorch before surrender whispers? Heaviness presses tanks immovably stuck, operators straining against velvet night. Winter's breath carries exhaust fumes fading, hope extinguishing in sputter. Will this cycle culminate in 2020's unexpected peace, or plunge deeper into strategic abyss? Wheels halt on icy cement, vibrations gone, silence echoing defeat's cold embrace. Ukraine's distributed web hums resiliently, twinkle of lights mocking blown bridges. Will Russia's fractures widen, silk unraveling in drone dances? Aroma of burnt oil lingers, tongues tasting metallic failure. Shadows lengthen as refineries crumble, skylines scarred by invisible vengeance. What force erodes tyranny's crown, rewriting history in veto whispers? Nights drag with power flickers, skin prickling against sudden cold. Ukraine's cutthroat strategy ignites innovation sparks, torching old norms. How does one nation's clever blows humble a colossal foe? Thunder grumbles as factories idle, once buzzing floors now eerily quiet. Pyres glow orange, heat waves distorting reality like mirages in war's furnace. Yet, from ashes, Ukraine forges unbreakable armor. Twists multiply, economic siege births creative renaissance. Hand clench cold jerrycans, engines cough futilely at empty taps. Ukraine's drone ballet humiliates defenses, radars blinded, skies turn treacherous. Will this staggering blow force tables turn, empires sway in unfamiliar winds? Gasoline stench fouls air, fingers numb from rationed warmth. Cliffs await as Ukraine presses forward, Russia's facade fracturing further. Sensory assault, sirens shrill pierce eardrums, smoke stings eyes in twilight gloom. Question looms, can Putin's regime endure such relentless unraveling? Tensions spike, breaths shallow amid refinery roars stuttering to silence. Ukraine's vantage spotlights cracks in hegemony's mask, forces bending toward inevitable reckoning. Fingernails scrape frozen windshields, engines rev to no avail in frozen stalls. Empathy swells for hollowed fronts, transformations brewing in strife's crucible. Adversity's grip tightens, but willpower ignites like strike matches. How will serialized defiance culminate in unifying dawn? Aches throb from unyielding chill, yet resolve grips totter. Flames dance mesmerizingly, casting elongated shadows on weary faces. Unexpected pivot, logistical stranglehold morphs into psychological siege, minds under strain. Skies echo with distant propellers buzzing revenge. Can such audacity prevail, rewriting conquest's playbook forever? In response to Russia's relentless strikes, Ukrainian intelligence launched an unprecedented long-range drone campaign. This innovative effort changed the rules of warfare forever. These Ukrainian-made drones, classified as Ludi and Beaver, are not just flying bombs. They are autonomous, AI-powered systems. They cut through the sky like silent predators, capable of reaching up to 1,200 miles deep into enemy territory. From Rostov to St. Petersburg, their reach instilled terror. The precision of these attacks is beyond anything seen before. Ukrainian drones didn't aim randomly. They targeted the very heart of Russia's energy infrastructure, the atmospheric distillation towers at refineries. These towers are vital for converting crude into gasoline and diesel. They are complex, fragile, and take months to repair. Western sanctions make obtaining parts nearly impossible. By August 2025, at least 16 of Russia's 38 major refineries were crippled, their operations halted by catastrophic damage. Firestorms erupted at facilities like Novoshakhtinsk, with flames visible for days and thermal signatures detectable from miles away. Russian defenses, including the billion-dollar S-400 systems, crumbled before these tiny, stealthy crafts. They were powerless against low-flying drones made from composite materials, which had a radar signature as small as a bird's. Russia's technical failures exposed glaring vulnerabilities. Ukraine employed swarm tactics, saturating Russian air defenses with decoys, overwhelming radars, and then striking critical targets with precision. Radars were destroyed, refineries attacked, and the defenses rendered useless. On the Odessa and Kiev lines, this unprecedented engineering feat became a turning point, yet the question remains, how long can Russia's outdated systems withstand this evolving battlefield? In the wake of devastating Russian missile strikes on Ukraine's port and energy hubs, Ukrainian teams moved swiftly. Inside hours, backup power systems kicked in at critical facilities, keeping port operations alive. Repair crews in Kiev worked tirelessly, restoring electricity to over 1 million homes in record time. This rapid recovery proved a harsh truth: Russia's strategy of hitting isolated targets with a single, overwhelming blow was failing. Ukraine's energy network had become a web, resilient, flexible, difficult to dismantle. Victory wasn't just on the battlefield anymore, it was happening behind the scenes, in the control rooms and engineering centers. When a refinery's distillation tower collapses, the damage ricochets. It's not just a halted production line. It's a broken supply chain stretching hundreds of kilometers, from gas stations to armored tanks stuck in muddy fields. That's exactly what Ukraine's precision strikes caused across Russia. As refineries burn and collapse, Russia's diesel output nosedived past a critical threshold. Faced with chaos, the Kremlin took an unprecedented step, banning gasoline exports entirely. The streets flooded with kilometer-long lines of vehicles in Rostov, Belgorod, even Moscow. Fuel shortages spiked prices sky-high. Farmers couldn't get diesel to harvest. Supply chains froze. Supermarkets emptied, factories halted, transportation ground to a halt. Putin's promise of stability vanished with the flicker of gas pump signs. But the real shock? Russian forces on the front lines started to falter. Without fuel, their tanks and armored units lost mobility. Stranded in Ukrainian mud. How long can this logistical nightmare continue before the entire Russian war effort collapses? The answer may be closer than anyone expected. Imagine a mighty nation built on boundless energy resources. Its reputation as an unstoppable power, its influence over neighbors, all depended on abundant fuel. But now, the very lifeblood of Russia's military and economy is hemorrhaging. The destruction of refineries has shattered that illusion. How did Ukraine turn its drone armies into the ultimate weapon, dismantling Russia's once impenetrable energy fortress? For Russian troops fighting in Ukraine, fuel isn't just fuel, it's their very strength. Tanks devour thousands of liters daily. Yet, with Ukraine targeting refineries in Russia and Crimea, that vital supply chain has been cut. Frontline units, once swift and unstoppable, start losing their maneuverability. Fuel delays turn armored vehicles into stranded wrecks. Supply convoys, once the backbone of logistics, now halt in place, easy targets for precision Ukrainian artillery. The nightmare unfolds, the operational plans of an entire army evaporate. Meanwhile, on the Ukrainian side, resilience blazes brighter than ever. After strikes at Odessa's energy infrastructure, microgrid systems and high-capacity generators from Western allies swiftly restore power. The port rapidly resumes operations, fueled by backup systems. This adaptability strips away Russia's weapon of darkness, the promise of a brutal winter of energy blackouts. Ukrainian industries, armed with local innovations, bounce back, reducing dependence on centralized energy. Unexpectedly, Russia's energy grip is collapsing at home too. Once threatening to cut off gas for Europe, Moscow now imports gasoline from Belarus and Kazakhstan, fueling its own tanks. What was once a symbol of dominance is now a humiliating reality. A country famed as an energy titan finds itself unable to meet its own needs, exposing fragile foundations. This isn't just a tactical defeat. It's a strategic crisis. The burning of refineries isn't merely about lost fuel, that's the end of Russia's petrodollar income, the financial lifeline funding its war efforts. Billions evaporate from the Kremlin's budget, plunging Russia deeper into economic chaos. In the quiet suburbs of Moscow, signs of this war are everywhere. Rising gas prices, power outages, the ominous hum of drones overhead, security illusions shattered. Ordinary citizens feel the fraying of stability, their silent anger simmering beneath the surface. When a government cannot protect its own land's energy arteries, the foundation of control begins to crack. Furthermore, Ukraine's strategic shift toward modern energy solutions, solar, wind, decentralized systems, renders Russian missiles increasingly ineffective. Russia's aging Soviet-era infrastructure, unpredictable and fragile, cannot keep pace. This technological asymmetry guarantees Ukraine's future strength while Russia declines, forever trapped in a cycle of patchwork repairs. And so, the world witnesses a profound shift. The image of Russia as an invincible superpower diminishes. Its standing as a nuclear force with impregnable defenses erodes rapidly after simple drones wipe out vital refineries. The shockwave ripples beyond the battlefield. It's not just a defeat, it's a collapse of the very empire built on limitless resources. What lies beneath this raid on Russia's energy core? A carefully laid trap, Ukraine's relentless drone strikes are tearing apart the foundation of Putin's most cherished power. And in doing so, they're rewriting the global chessboard, showing that even the mightiest giants can fall when their energy veins are targeted with precision. The question remains, can Moscow's once unstoppable system be repaired before its entire geopolitical influence crumbles? Or will this energy war mark the beginning of a new era, one where resilience and ingenuity determine who truly rules? Russia's image as an energy superpower is crumbling before our eyes. Once unstoppable, its vast refineries now burn in flames, and its economy teeters on the brink of collapse. How did this happen? The answer lies in Ukraine's bold, calculated push to dismantle Russia's core. The destruction of refineries isn't just about losing fuel, it's about severing the vital petrodollar pipeline that funds Moscow's military ambitions. Without it, billions vanish from Russia's coffers, and the entire system is pushed toward chaos. Imagine walking through a landscape of rubble and smoke. The smell of burning oil fills the air. Power outages ripple across cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg. Ordinary citizens, once shielded by illusions of security, now face daily chaos. Gasoline shortages create long lines, and supermarkets see empty shelves. The war is no longer distant, it's in their homes, in their everyday lives. As the Russian economy falters, their confidence disintegrates, fueling silent anger and anxiety. But there's more. Ukraine is evolving beyond conventional warfare. As it adopts Western standards, smart grids, advanced energy tech, Russia finds itself increasingly isolated. Massive Soviet-era refineries are no longer manageable targets, they are fragile and fixed. Meanwhile, Ukraine's strategic shift to diversified, decentralized energy sources makes its infrastructure nearly indestructible. Drones equipped with AI can now penetrate Russian defenses, reaching depths of 1,000 miles or more. Swarm tactics overwhelm outdated radar systems that once claimed to be invincible. How long can Russia maintain these brittle, vulnerable assets before it collapses entirely? This technological gap isn't just about defense, it's about credibility. Russia's once imposing image as a nuclear power is cracking. Their inability to protect vital infrastructure signals a crisis of confidence on the world stage. Allies like China and India watch closely, their eyes narrowing as Moscow's prestige erodes. The narrative shifts from invincibility to vulnerability. The picture is clear. Ukraine's daring strikes have triggered a strategic upheaval. Russia's military power, its economy, even its standing among global giants like Beijing and Delhi are under siege. The core question remains, will Russia's fragile system hold, or will it disintegrate under the weight of Kiev's relentless, invisible assault? The coming months could determine whether the world's balance of power shifts forever. Shockingly, a technological edge has emerged, empowering Ukraine to modernize swiftly while Russia crumbles under endless repairs. Attacks like these are stripping away Russia's global power image, leaving cracks in its mighty facade. Imagine a bomb ticking beneath the world's largest nuclear arsenal. Where next? As the Kremlin's defenses fail hilariously against basic drones, what once seemed invincible now stands exposed, raw and vulnerable. The sting of falling prestige burns hotter than refinery flames, doesn't it? Picture China's wary glances and India's hushed doubts, partners retreating from a superpower-turned spectacle. The acrid smell of smoke lingers, mixing with the sharp tang of broken alliances. Putin's grand visions, building tunnels to Alaska or wielding nuclear threats, now echo like tragic jokes over charred ruins. Tactile echoes of crumbling concrete underfoot, the whisper of evacuations, reality shifts cruelly. Russia shapeshifts from energy titan to a hollow shell, infrastructure decaying, defenses riddled with flaws. Ukraine's bold move shouts defiance to the West, supply us weapons, and we'll dismantle Russia economically, not just militarily. This is warfare at its attrition peak, starve them of funds, halt the tanks, ignite revolts. Russia's coffers emptying, its forces stalling, its citizens awakening. Data screams success, Ukraine's tactics grip like ice on steel. In the early trenches, they hid in bunkers for survival. Now, with tech and grit, they encircle Russia within its borders. Can you feel the chill as Moscow's energy veins rupture? Fireballs erupt where refinement towers once stood, radiating unbearable heat. Soldiers shiver in frosty mud, while civilians huddle in darkened homes, the bite of winter penetrating walls. Ukraine's drone legion scorches imperialist ambitions in those very tanks, triumphant sparks flying. As 2026 looms, innovation's victory over brute force gleams bright. For Russia, lights flicker out, an age dissolving in despair. Yet Ukraine forges its own sunrise, handcrafted and unyielding. This energy stranglehold spares no one, not even Russia's own streets dissolving into blackout shadows. What desperate ploy will Putin unleash next to claw back control? In 2026, Ukraine's intelligence triumphs have shifted the battlefield's entire tone. The lights are flickering out for Russia, signaling not just military defeat but a collapse of its geopolitical dominance. Yet, behind the scenes, a far more dangerous rupture is unfolding, one that threatens the very fabric of Moscow's influence in its own backyard. As Putin desperately attempts to quench the fires igniting within his borders, he faces an unseen betrayal from his most loyal allies. The once reliable partners of Moscow are quietly abandoning ship. The battleground isn't only on front lines but also across borders, where entire supply routes are collapsing. The critical land link between Russia and China, long-standing and vital, is now severed. Reports from October reveal Kazakhstan effectively shutting down Russia's main corridor to Asia, leaving thousands of Russian trucks stranded at the border. This isn't just a logistical hiccup, it's an act of strategic defiance, an escape route from Moscow's dying grip. This move is more than customs delays, it's a calculated gamble by Kazakhstan to protect its own interests. Moscow's elaborate system of parallel imports, designed to bypass sanctions, has been dismantled. Russia's supply chain, once a silent engine fueling its economy and war effort, is unraveling. Meanwhile, Moscow turns to Belarus for aid, desperately requesting emergency fuel shipments. Once the master of its energy streams, Russia now finds itself begging for favors from Minsk to keep its tanks rolling. The shift signals the inevitable: Moscow's allies are slipping away, leaving it isolated. The entire region is reshaping itself, geographically, politically, and strategically, while Russia remains trapped in a tightening net. This isn't merely the defeat of Russian troops, it's a paralysis of Russia's capacity to sustain itself. The echoes are deafening, civilian panic ripples through Crimea as residents flee the collapsing infrastructure, a stark warning of a regime crumbling from within. Who will remain by Moscow's side when the energy tap finally runs dry? Will the Kremlin's unbreakable grip shatter under this silent revolution? The stage is set for a seismic upheaval that could redefine power in Eurasia forever. Putin's ambitions for dominance are crumbling amid the chilling truth. Tanks are running dry, unable to move. Jets are grounded, silent. Allies that once supported him are turning away, abandoning him in the cold darkness. Meanwhile, Ukraine is quietly winning through relentless resilience, on the battlefield and within the very energy arteries of Russia. By targeting key refineries and infrastructure, Kyiv is striking at the heart of Russia's power. This isn't just a war of soldiers, it's a battle for control over energy and economic stability. Ukraine's strategic moves are setting the stage for a devastating collapse of Russia's war machine from within. What hidden steps is Ukraine taking behind the scenes to ensure victory? Could this silent strategy be their ultimate weapon? As the icy grip of energy failure tightens, the true power shift may be just beginning. The question remains, how much longer can Putin's regime sustain a war fought on empty tanks and fading alliances? The tension is mounting, and the stakes have never been higher. In this game of shadows, the future of the region hangs in a fragile balance. Could Ukraine's quiet assault be the final blow that ends the long-standing Russian quest for supremacy?